Seconds out, round 5 with me, Jeff Ollerhead and Georgie Treble. The continuing story. Look, let's talk about, so Nicky MacDonald has made the Great Britain team, should be going to the Olympics, but as you said, so just recap what happened to Nicky.
Well, there was a lot of bad injuries with him. You know, he won gold medals in a lot of big competitions. You had to qualify before you went to Olympic Games. You just can't go to Olympic Games. And he unfortunately broke his hand in one of the tournaments.
You got to win the ABAs, which Nicky done, didn't he? The national ABAs.
You got to win the ABAs to be number one, you know. And then from there, you got to go to the qualifiers. You just can't go to Olympic Games.
So many people get disillusioned, just put a ticket in, yet there's a lot of process and a lot of fighting.
Yeah, a lot of you know, you've got to go around, there's world championships, which is harder than Olympic Games. You've got to qualify. Nick went to one qualify and broke his hand, which he was doing well in, you know. And then the second qualifier, we got told, look, his hand's going to take 10 weeks, 12 weeks to heal. Don't bother going to the second qualifier. We'll pull him out and we'll go to the last one, because we knew that Nick would qualify. You know,
okay,
there was nothing in there to beat him, because once everyone qualifies, they drop out.
Okay.
So the last one, there wouldn't have been too many of the big guns in there, you know.
So you had a pre-planned as a coach yourself, and you knew the guidance, you got your... Okay, so why didn't he just...
Well, what happened, the England squad phoned me up and he said, where is he? I said, well, he's staying down here, we're going to strengthen his hand. Well, we want him to go to the qualifier. Well, we've been told to leave it and let him go the last one. Of course, these England coaches, if they don't get people to qualify, they get sacked. And that's what they don't want. So they'll try and push. So I said, no, you know, I don't want him to go to the second one, I want him to go to the last one. And they said, look, we're basically, if he wants to go, we'll come down and just train. We want to see him train, that he's keeping fit and his weight down and whatever. I said, well, no sparring, because we've been told 12 weeks. But we always knew Khan was going to the Olympic Games. And he was his toughest sparring partner down there was Nick. And if Khan was here, you know, he'd say, Nick used to give me a good run for me money, you know, and it used to be great spars. And they needed Nick for Khan, because they, you know, they needed good sparring for Khan to keep him on his toes and things like that and sharp. And of course I got told Nick wasn't going to spar him.
That's all the lie there, really.
So I get a phone call turning around and say, we've got some bad news for you. You know, what's wrong? Nick's been sparring and broke his hand again. Well, that's when, you know, these sports psychiatrists come in, and we probably should have had one for Nick. So we had a big argument with the England squad down there.
So you're arguing, saying, listen, you knew this anyway. What you just said, you said, well, you shouldn't have went.
Yeah.
But again, greedy, money, jobs lost, and Carl wanted the sparring partner.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit disgusting now. You look back and thinking, because that triggered Nicky's downfall. If no disgrace, but obviously is maybe his disbelief in things, thinking he's got an injury, he's got to start all over again. And as you know, as a boxer, someone breaks their hands, it's the main two, obviously, but well, it can just...
He was down there, and he had a big argument with the top England coach about it. And, you know, it nearly come to blows, be dead honestly with you. Yeah. So we come away and he went, oh, that's it, that's me finished now. You know, he knew he couldn't go to qualifiers, so he decided to turn pro.
So Nicky wanted to go pro, yeah?
Well, you know, after the Olympic Games, he always said he wanted to turn pro, because he had a great amateur career.
Yeah, progression. Yeah. Along with Derry Matthews, by the way.
Derry had become a world champion, you know.
So, exactly, so this is the level, Big respect for Derry, that's just where we're going, as you said before, both national champions. And, you know, so Nicky MacDonald, he's pushed his hand for England, which he should have just left him to the last qualifier. Would have got to the Olympics, would have succeeded doing very well. I mean, let's be honest, where do you think would have done?
Well, no one knows. It depends on the draw, because if you get drawn the best, it's always best to get one of the lower ones for the warm. Going to any big competition, the nerves get to you. You know, you're travelling and things like that. If you have one or two warm-up contests, it's good. If you draw the best, And it only takes that little stupid draw to draw the best.
Yeah. And that's just the look of the draw, but you know, Nicky had every asset, as you said. He was clever, he boxed on his back foot,
Yeah.
you know.
He could box, he could fight, you know, it's shown that against Kevin Mitchell, Stephen Smith, you know, they all said that they couldn't be beat. Stephen Smith was supposed to be too clever, too slick for him, and it wasn't that way, you know. Kevin Mitchell, we boxed him over five, the very first boxer I had boxed over 5-2s, you know.
Kevin Mitchell, he made it, he's
another world champion.
Another world champion. He's just dropping names out the hat here, and there's so much depth, you know. And it'd be great to see some comments from like Kevin Mitchell and Stephen Smith below about Nicky MacDonald. So we're going to get Nicky MacDonald on next week, and if you want to come along with him, George, it'd be great.
Yeah,
you can bounce off you.
Yeah.
But look, this is the level. So you would you been in this corner representing them for the
no. Once they go to big competitions like that, it was only now and again like the Four Nations I was allowed. You're not allowed to go in for England whatsoever now. You've got to, you know, because they're all they're getting paid now.
Yeah.
So it all stopped when Nick boxed against America. I was in the corner then. You know, when he boxed his gold medal, I was in the Four Nations, in the Olympia, I was there again. You know, now look at the Americans now. Half of their clubs are closed now.
Why is that?
Because when the computer scoring come in, they couldn't adapt to it. They at one time they were the best winning gold medals in the Olympic Games, and then this computer scoring come out, and they just couldn't adapt, or the coaches wouldn't adapt or whatever. But you've got to move on with the times. That's what I've always believed in.
Well, do you know what? It's funny how boxing changes. Has it gone back from scoring back to the?
It's gone back
to the judges.
Well, body shots never scored on the computer. Now they are. You know, so it's gone back because I think what it was when you were turning pro, it was very hard for them to adapt to body shots and things like that, and 1 or 2 shots, because it was all on the judge pressing the button at one clear shot.
Yeah, that's a freedom, that's a connect at one
time. Yeah, at one time to score. So it was a correct blow, and it was mainly not a jab, it was a backhand, unless it was a power jab. It was the backhand he was scoring on, and clever boxers. And we, as English, always want to step in and shorten our left hooks here like this.
Yeah.
And then the Cubans, when I was training and I was listening to them, they said, we'll take 2 steps back and turn our hand over.
Like a bolo shot.
Yeah.
A bolo.
You know, we seen on that with Stephen Smith and boxing the other week, you know, for the world title, and the other fellow was throwing these long shots and defending after. And that's what I've been working on a lot with boxers at the moment, is what's coming back at them.
So this is the amateur game, yes. So,
yeah.
I mean, look, what would you prefer, right, at this, I mean, would you prefer just to watch judges, just to watch the fight, and you see quite clearly who's, you know, who, I think most pundits nowadays, when they watch the fight, they know, if it's, say for instance, like Carl Froch and Groves, you know, it's a big one, but obviously, you know that Groves is winning, this is the second fight, and then Froch drops it. Was it clear, obvious that Groves was winning?
Well, I spoke to Carl Froch when he boxed him the first time, and we took Anthony Fowler up to spar him, because when I was talking to Carl Froch said, I didn't think I've been in with the best in the world, big punches and whatever, but then we've got a lad that's thrown a jab that fast, and Carl Froch said, well, I couldn't beat the jab. I couldn't beat it, and when he put me over, he said, I got the shock of my life. I thought, what am I doing down here? I've got bigger punches. When Groves put him over. And of course, when he went back the second time, he said, I had to really sit down to think, is my career finished here? These young kids coming up and, you know, beat me for speed and things like that. And I thought, no, sat down. I seen a sports psychiatrist that I've never done through my career. I went outside the gym and went and locked myself away for 6 weeks in the GB for England. I went and done weights that I'd never done, and I went and stepped away from boxing training and riding my bike because I believe I went stale. And he said, you know, I had Anthony in because he had a very, very fast jab.
It was Andy Fowler,
yeah. And he probably got one of the best jabs in the world, be dead honestly with you. And I knew I had to speed it up and I had to feint, and I had to step away too because he couldn't, so he wouldn't lead off. I had to feint and drive him onto shot because I knew I couldn't beat him with speed. And it was a great conversation for me to learn off the best in the world, to see how he was thinking, and for him to let it out to me, to say, you know, I've seen a sports psychiatrist and never done. I locked myself away for 6 weeks, away from my wife and my kids. I went and done weights. I went and done other things because I believe I went stale. And I thought, well, it's the end of my career, this.
Do you know when you think about it, George? I mean, a sports psychiatrist, just think about the amount of, if the olden days with boxers and there was a sports psychiatrist, you think there would have been a lot more champions you would have seen?
Yeah, we had 2 great world champions, and they both come from Kirby.
Kirby like that.
Yeah, Kirby. And you know who they were, you know me, you know. And they were 2 great world champions.
Was that Conte and
John Conte?
John
yeah.
Conte and
the little banter.
Oki. What was his name?
Oki.
Yeah.
No, what was his name? 2 of them are from Kirby. Now you know, they you know, well, there's only 1 world champion. There wasn't 4 world champions like there was. There was only 1. So
which one of the bantamweight? The one is it?
Yeah, bantamweight.
That's Oki. Oki? What's it?
No.
Field? No, get it now.
Paul
Ocko. Oki.
Yeah, I feel.
I had the Oki, man.
And John beat him as an amateur.
Who did John?
John Allen beat him as an amateur.
Did he?
Yeah.
So we had sports psychiatrists, yeah. So they had them sorts of mental fields, because I think when you become a champion of boxers, like you can see the fall of grace because they've reached that level. And Tyson Fury, you know, he was a prime example. He won it, did he? Against.
Well, I think with Tyson Fury, the thing about Tyson Fury, he never stops moving.
Yeah. And
he doesn't give you nothing to hit at, and you don't know what he's going to do. He's fighting, he's moving, and he's non-stop moving. And this is what I'm getting in boxers. Well, hang on, he's done it when I didn't think he was going to do it. No one in the world thought he was going to do what he done. Even me, you know. But you have a look, he doesn't stop moving, he doesn't stop fighting, he believes in himself. You know, when he boxed Wilder the second time, he put all that weight on. I thought, wow, I take weight off boxers to make them quicker. He put weight on for that second contest. I'm thinking, wow, is he doing the right thing here? By putting weight on, changing his coach. Christ, is he going to do it? I didn't think he'd do it the first time, be dead honestly with you.
Oh, yeah.
But if you watch him, if you watch him boxing, he doesn't go forward. He doesn't stop moving his hands, his feet, he's fighting all that. He just don't know what he's going to do.
I think it's amazing. He's definitely a phenomenal, because to get off the canvas,
the way he's done,
hits him off. He just, you know,
there's only 2 Pearsons I've ever seen get off that canvas like that. That was Tony Bellew.
Yeah.
I seen him getting off the canvas like that. There's only 2 Pearsons. In the year that I've watched boxing.
And they took a good shot, you know. It's
when
like
you think that's him finished.
Lights out.
And it was Tony Bellew who got off the canvas and Tyson Fury. And that day, people still talk about Tyson Fury getting back off that canvas. Well, you should have seen Tony Bellew do it as well. There's 2 people I've seen.
Wow. Yeah, so obviously you're talking about Anthony Joshua because you spoke to him. What about if you're a pundit and you're sitting there now, because everyone's talking about it, the fight between Tyson Fury and Joshua that everyone wants to see in Britain and the world?
Well, I think Anthony Joshua, I've known Anthony since, you know, he started boxing the very first day in the ABA finals. We shared a room with him, you know, and we were on telly and he was a no-mark, just lying on the bench, you know.
Yeah.
But Anthony's very, very stiff and very, very powerful.
Have you been on the pads? with
I've
him?
been on the, took him on the pads once, and so I know how powerful he is.
Wow, so you saw Joshua on the pads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then Tyson Fury, I've been around him, I've watched him because he had his brother boxing. I've had lads boxing when we went to Ireland. I've had lads boxing with him for England at a younger age, 16, 17. A matter of fact, I had Paul Butler boxing, Matty Fagan, and he even passed up to Paul Butler, and he boxed later on. And
Who did Tyson Fury?
Yeah, Tyson Fury.
All the script books.
Yeah. And he had a brother who boxed as well. He's got a few, but in championships and all that. But he's so unpredictable. I wouldn't like to box.
Did you see the skill in him, George?
Without a doubt, 100%. Well, it just shows he's beating the best in the world, and people are underestimating him. I didn't think the first fight with Klitschko and
it's wonderful and it's great.
It's great. It's great for
for Great Britain.
For Great Britain, because at the moment we've got the best fighters in the world.
Totally agree.
Gyms in America have actually, half of the gyms have actually closed down. I know it's very hard in the amateur game because we've got to pay out even before we start with gyms and licenses and to put shows on. You need £5,000 in the amateur game just for 1 year, just 1 year to keep a gym going, which is a lot of money. Of course, to put a boxing show on now, with paramedics and doctors and officials and paying, it costs £1,000 just to put a club show on.
Just for the local lads to get on with them,
Yeah, and so without the subs coming in or sponsors coming into clubs,
That's why they pay the subs,
it's why they pay the subs.
Plus the heat and the showers,
and the showers and the maintenance and the run. There's a lot of old people that do come in and help. Great. There's, it's not about just the coaches. It's about a committee behind the clubs, how good they are. To keep the clubs going, they collect the subs.
Yeah.
I go to work, I walk in the gym. I haven't got time to collect the subs, match me, and things like that. So it takes a lot of organising. The lads have all got to have medical cards, got to be paid for. They've got to be registered. They've got to be insured. I can go on and tell you what it takes.
What it takes, you know what I mean? So it's just not just so easy.
Because they're closing a lot of these clubs down, and like I said, I keep on going about America, because they're not getting lads in gold medals and competing in a world level, or gold medals in Olympic Games, or even silver bronze. They're getting nothing. They've closed half of them gyms down because they can't afford to keep them going.
And you said before, we should discuss why boxing is a great outlet for young lads with a lot of aggression, because it channels it.
I've had a lot of kids off the street, no kid's bad.
Yeah.
What kids want, they want a little bit of sugar. You give them a little bit of respect, they give you a lot of respect back. And all they want, even these hard kids that I've found in the street, they put these walls up, they're all soft behind that, but you just want a little bit of loving and speaking to, and a bit of attention. There was a documentary done in Liverpool with the Clocky lads and the Norris Green lads.
Yeah, seen that.
And the fella that done that never lived in Liverpool. He never lived in Liverpool. And I had one of them lads down in the Golden Gloves, and he was good as gold. And his mum turned round and said, he's never done what the school's done, or what they've told him anywhere. He's come down this gym, because what I said to him, you'll do what the rest, there's no one special here, so you run around with the rest, and you do what the rest does. If not, there's the door. I don't get paid. None of these lads coming here coaching, none of the committee don't get paid. We actually pay for you to be here. And he looked at me in a funny way, and I know. And the documentary come down and starts videoing that kid. And the video, and you're like, wow, he's doing everything you said. Can you take him on? Now, they had a guy there coming from a place bringing him down. His mum stood on top of that stairs and actually went, wow, and she cried. They didn't show that video, did that kid working with other kids from Liverpool area in that community. They didn't show us. They didn't film that kid training with us. That guy went to Crocky and wound them two up. So he put the Norris screen against the Crocky lads. He didn't show that kid in training with other kids from Liverpool.
Yeah, different areas.
So I think he shouldn't have done that documentary. He should have showed that kid to say, this is what we can transform a kid in, and that's all we try and do. Take kids off the street. No kids bad. No kids bad. You just want a little bit of attention and a bit of loving.
And it takes you back to the old Golden Gloves with your dad, with all these families. You know, what you said, it's the same sort of foundation.
Yeah.
I mean, what about the girls? I mean, because you mentioned that who's the lady that who's become like is a world cage fighter?
Katie Taylor. You see, what it was, you know, my sister always wanted to box. Jesus Christ, she was rough as the
Your sister.
My sister.
Yeah.
And she was eye the tiger. She had more bite than me and my dad. You know, she used to friggin' not put the gloves on, but she wasn't allowed. Girls at that time wasn't allowed at the gym. God help us if she was. She would have been the first world champion, my sister.
What was her name?
And Treble, you know,
Anne
eventually, you know, she died of cancer, you know. But she was eye of the tiger. If there was somewhere to fight, she used to fight. If we had trouble in the street, she was first there, you know. But all of a sudden, Katie Taylor picks this gold medal up. And she is awesome.
Yeah, what's the documentary?
You know, wins a gold medal in Olympic Games. And it shows you how much of a heart she's got and the way she's trained. And all of a sudden...
the door,
yeah. All of a sudden, I had a girl come in, you know, in the Golden Gloves. And she went and won a national championship. Molly McCann, her name is.
Molly McCann?
Yeah. And
well done, Molly.
Yeah, and then she won. You know...
So you're training... You're training different, so just a...
It was hard at first training girls, you know, with them getting in, and you used to say, oh my God, you know, I've got to protect it, you know, because obviously there wasn't a lot of girls, so she had to spar lads in the gym, you know.
She sparred lads.
You know, I had James Dickon, Jazzy, they called him.
Jazzy,
Yeah, who beat Khan's brother, and a matter of fact,
he's fighting for a world championship.
He's boxing for the world title.
Jazzy Dickens,
and matter, I had to laugh one day. We boxed Khan, brother, and as we coming out the ring, Khan come down and Jazzy went, you're next. And he flew at Jazzy, you know, and it was one of them funny things. But getting back onto the girl, you know, Molly McCann went and won a world. She was the first girl to win a world champion cage fighting.
That's amazing, but you learned to the pedigree, you got the balance.
Yeah, there was other there's other coaches like Kev Barrett worked with her.
Okay.
You know, there was loads of coaches within the club. Stephen Ungie, one of the young that boxed for the Golden Gloves, who a big, massive boxing family coming out me. It's not only about me; it's about what the boxers are, and the help, the committee, the coaches I brought in. I had Neil Oxon used to box for me, coming out.
Oxo,
Yeah, I had a school teacher from a school coming in and out of me. So it's not all about me.
Yeah.
It's about the committee and other lads that come in the gym.
Big Sean Sodden for Oxo, is they did the venture.
Sean come to box for me.
Masha Dodd,
no, Massey didn't. But Sean's a coach in the venture now, and he did have one or two from the Birkenhead. He come with me.
Yeah.
There's other coaches. Mikey come. He runs the Wallasey gym, Seacombe gym. He boxed for me.
The bridges, no, was a 7-7. What's that called?
Mikey Allen.
Yeah, Mikey Allen. Sorry.
Yeah, Mikey Allen and his brother
both punchy, by the way. Yeah. With famous names.
You know, they had brothers and they all boxed for me from the Birkenhead. They come down and now he's a coach. Neil Oxon is a coach in Birkenhead Ventures. Sean Strodden is.
Danny Tittle. But you know what, you just mentioned so many names, because you know what the best thing about it? the community of boxing on Merseyside alone, you've got a good. If it go speak to Georgie, because you know the inputs, and there's anybody, young lads or girls out there want to start a boxing career, it's a good time to train indoors if you're off school. What did you say, with a bit of road work and dancing and stuff?
Well, they do dancing, they do yoga, they do gymnastics, they go canoeing. You know, these pedal boards now, for the balance, it's about balance, learning how to balance on your feet, and move on your feet. And all these lower potential world champion,
yeah.
He does canoeing, he's all about going stale for rotation, boxing. Pedal boarding, you stand on the pedal board and you've got your balance, so if you get knocked, you can knock back on your 2 feet.
Karate kid, wax on, wax off. Yeah.
Well, the same as blocking and coming back and stepping away and phase attacks and things like that.
You get your going, don't you?
Yeah, but you know, it's not only about coaching, it's about how much the boxer wants it. How, you know, we've got an hour and a half, and you know, I've gone back to another gym now, and last week, well, before the lockdown, we had 65 boxers, well, kids and boxers and learners within the gym, and I'm like, I'm thinking, wow, you know, we've got 7 coaches. Andy Ollerhead was a world champion, won everything. He's going to come in and help us. Andy box, like saying, with
well, you know, Andy Ollerhead, everyone knows Andy Ollerhead, the famous fight with Shane Airy, it's up there. Boxing's great fights, the spark in the park. So there's a lot more input. So you're coming back into, is that going to be the West Squirrel?
Yeah, because like when I was in the Golden Rose, I run my own company, and I ended up in hospital twice because going to shows. You see, the shows that when they went into championships, it was just on a Saturday. Now it's moved to the Sunday, and I remember coming home on a Sunday, we boxed on a Saturday in the championships, and then we boxed in the novices in the final in London. And I remember driving back from London and getting up the next morning and collapsing, you know, because it was too much, because I'm getting old and I'm not like I used to train. I used to go right from work, train them, have a butty in the gym and take them to boxing shows. But these championships, they're making it harder. There's only one show a night. So obviously the boxers are not getting work, so we've got to travel Birmingham, London, where we never had to.
Yeah.
It was all within Liverpool or Birkenhead area. We always had good boxers and always matchmaking. Now you're finding out that one boxer comes good, that you can't get a contest for him, and then you've got to travel for sparring, and that becomes
money, energy, time,
petrol,
and this is all free off your back, isn't it?
Well, I had 3 kids as well, mate. You know, I had 3 of my own, and I collected 3 of my own for years.
Who's your son's name? Give it a shout out.
Lee, Stephen, and David, and Lee actually boxed for me.
Lee Stevens, eh?
Yeah. So like they had a hard time because they never seen a lot of me.
That's what saying, Dad. You know, I've got to go to the gym. And your wife.
Yeah.
The pressure of your wife. Who's your wife's name?
Now I've got 5 grandkids as well. And like
you're trebled up there.
Yeah, well I've got 2 of them. Our George Treble the 4th and Livy. They're coming in the gym now, and they're training. You know, one's just turned 9 and one's 7.
Yeah.
The girls can come in the gym, the little girls as well now, but it's not about me being there and I can produce them. It's about the team, and it's about the gym, and it's about the committee, how it's run. You know, it's a lot of hard work. I'm sorry if I missed anyone out that boxed with me, that helped me. You need help. Look, you just can't walk in the gym and produce national champions. We have an hour and a half in the gym, and that's it. And that's with 45, 50 kids to train and box. There's no community centres now where the kids can go. So in the night time, these dark nights, in Morton where we are, they've closed them all down. We've got a dance school and a boxing gym. So it becomes hard, and you need a big team. You know, Derek Williams phoned me up and Ray phoned me up and asked me, I retired, and he asked me if I'd come back and help because of me, you know,
Your
my
knowledge,
problems.
yeah.
My problems with, you know, I was doing too much. I was in the car with Blaine Ireland, who's John's son, who won a national championship for me. My dad trained him, and I trained Blaine for national championships. So my dad took John for national championships, and I boxed with John, and I took Blaine for national championships,
Fantastic,
which is John's son. And there was Willis, Kenny Willis.
Yeah.
Now Tony Willis won a silver medal in the Olympic Games, and Luke Willis boxed with Tom, boxed for Kenny. And what happened, he come down the gym, and Tom Stalker couldn't throw a backhand. And he come down and he said, George, England's good, she's southpaw. Yeah. He said, so I worked with him, but he didn't box for me, and lads were saying in the gym, what are you doing teaching him? Where, you know, he's not boxing for the club. And next minute, Luke had boxed for Kenny, which is Kenny was a great fighter, ABA champion, British champion. His brother won a silver European title and all that.
Yeah.
So his dad, Luke, boxed Khan, and Khan beat him.
Okay.
And for 5 years he hadn't boxed, but he come down to the gym, and his dad come down, oh, what's happening? Yeah. You know, they're all coming to you, blah, blah, I don't want them to come to me. And Kai said to Kenny, listen, look, well, your son boxed for you, Holy boxed for me. And he got all, you know, he come down, and he went, I don't want to give him his medical cards, you know, you need a medical card to box. And he turned around and he said to me, George, I don't want him to box. He hasn't boxed for 5 years. And then Luke said to his dad, if I don't box for George, I won't box at all. So Kenny went, here's the man, I don't want him to box for me. And then you know, we boxed, we put him in the championships, was his first bout back.
Who's this again?
Luke Willis.
Luke Willis,
which is Kenny's son.
Yeah,
and we put him in the championships, and we boxed it in the Dockers Club, and we boxed the #1.
Okay.
So I'm Mason Cartwright. Now I trained Mason, so I knew what was happening. So he was coming in, and he's a very aggressive fighter, and Luke was a southpaw who could counter punch, can roll underneath, get out of trouble. And Kenny was like, because it's his son, was always wanted to, you know.
Yeah, fight. Yeah. Unleash the beast.
Yeah. So we box him, and everyone says, you know, you can't beat this kid. Luke hasn't boxed for 5 years. And I knew I was going to box. So we trained him, and we knew he was going to lean forward, and he was going to come with aggression and throw and load up. Our hand was, and speed, let him come, 2 sets back, let's roll underneath him, let's go. Don't be there for him to come back, because he'll get angry. I knew he'd get angry. So he's Luke Willis, his name was, and his dad was sitting by the ringside, and I'm thinking, oh, his dad's done everything. He's there, he's listening, he didn't want him to box for me. He comes back the corner, and he says to me, George, what did I do? I said, calm down. You're Luke, you're my Jedi. What's he mean? I said, calm down. His dad looks at me and goes, what have you just said to him? I said, he's my Jedi. He's Luke. The Force is with him. Luke, what did I tell you to do?
Luke, use the Force.
I said, he will come out again, out of that thing, with more aggression. We'll see his shots. Go the other way now, because he'll think you to cut you off. Go the way, because everyone wants to cut the southpaws off either across them.
Southpaw,
yeah.
Boxing.
We were getting on the outside, and you know, we wanted to be our foot on the outside of him and going this way. So like, we want to be in the inside, going near, you won't expect it. Luke, like,
change the tactic. Yeah.
So Kenny looks and he goes, what have you just said? I said, he's Luke, he's my Jedi, the Force is in him. He'll beat him because he'll come out now with more aggression. I've been here, I've seen it, I've done it, I know what will happen. John Ireland, visions in the head.
Yeah.
Luke gives him a boxing lesson, touches him on the shoulder, boom, rolls underneath him, goes the other way, catches him. Kenny goes to me, you just called me a Jedi? I said, yeah, I'm just calling him a freaking me Jedi. In the final of the championships, Kenny had a big picture of Luke with a samurai sword as a Jedi. And Luke actually won and got the best boxing award for the national championship and went on to box #1 Russian for England and beat him. And Kenny said to me, George, do you think he can beat him? I said, I've watched him. They've sent videos. Come on, Kenny, this is his opportunity. Right in. Because he hadn't boxed for 5 years.
So did you go with him to Russia, is it?
No, they boxed him his ear. The lad pulled out from England.
Okay.
And he said, oh, I don't fancy it. And he phoned me up and I went, because I knew all the England coaches, Kelvin Travers.
Yeah.
And Kelvin said, what's he think? I said, yeah, we can beat this kid. We went and give him a boxing lesson.
Did he? All because of you. Georgie, it's been a tremendous pleasure to have you on today. It's a great honour because there's so many things I want to pluck your brains, and we'll get you back on with Nicky next week, no doubt.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add to the audience?
Oh, I can go on bloody on here of flitting about the old time boxes.
I hope you enjoyed Georgie Treble, and please leave your comments down below. If you've ever met Georgie or been trained by George, I'm sure you'll appreciate it. We'll get back to you. Well, from me, Jeff Ollerhead, to Georgie Treble, well done, George.
Thanks very much.
Absolutely amazing. Take care, folks.